The Bastard Munich vs PXG match has taken a turn for the best, as I believe within these next two chapters, we're going to witness the craziest goal from either Isagi Yoichi, Michael KAISER, or Kiora Jin. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Animasu, and today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Blue Lock Chapter 264, titled Death, 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 Life. If you enjoy my chapter overviews and would like to support the channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, comment below your thoughts, and also feel free to join my community Discord down below if you'd like to talk directly. Without further ado, let's get right into today's chapter, and after watching, go comment below who you think will be scoring the next goal in this match. As always, we start off with intro text which states, "One player calmly seeks an opening between the boundary lines." This introduction seems to be in reference to Bastard Munich's number 69, Kiora Jin, as he happens to be the first person on the very first page. The narrator then goes on to confirm this by saying that Kiora Jin has always been destined to stand on the boundary line of life, supporting my prediction that last chapter's title was in reference to him. The author clearly wants us to have all attention on Kiora, because this chapter even goes on to explain a bit about his childhood. As we see two nurses frantically rushing a pregnant woman into an operating room, the narrator says that Kiora Jin's first life or death scenario happened when he was still in the womb, with an EKG machine then being shown displaying his mother's heart rate as 147/68, bad signs are already being shown, as this is most definitely very high blood pressure. On top of that, the narrator goes on to further explain that his mother suffered from some serious illness while he was still in the womb, and sadly, the doctors only estimated a 50% chance for him to live through the birth. Luckily for both him and his mother, fortune ended up smiling upon the family, and a healthy baby boy named Kiora Jin was born into this world. The narrator then goes on to give us some context about his childhood, as Kiora was the middle child of two older brothers. He had one hot-tempered older brother who was slightly taller and wider, and one younger brother who was taller and also aggressive. Apparently every day in the Kiora household looked like a WWE match, so Jin would constantly be forced to choose which brother he should side with. The way he lives life and his combat instincts were formed by this constant need to choose between one thing or another, to be born or to die. As we see his scale tipping in favor of one side, Kiora believes that his presence and alliance is what determines the victor in most scenarios. Moving into the Blue Lock facility and facing these strong opponents has done nothing but sharpen these instincts of his even more, and thanks to this mindset, he's managed to make it this far into the new Egoist League. Being out of the top 23 though and in the final match, Kiora Jin is now faced with yet another dead or alive scenario in his life. Looking forward to see two star strikers running towards the box, he must decide which person he should ally himself with to ensure his own survival. If we didn't get a badass shot of Kiora locking in and sprinting ahead, the narrator tells us that his instincts were telling him now more than ever that his time has come to make another dead or alive decision. Michael KAISER and Isagi Yoichi are both positioned well and possess very powerful weapons to each score gold. So what is the true best option for Kiora here? Moving on from Kiora though, the chapter then changes over to the perspective of our main character Isagi Yoichi sprinting up the field, with puzzle pieces flying all around containing players like Ness, Kunigami, Yuri, Ryusei, and even Zantetsu for some reason. Isagi is fully aware that this entire field is currently revolving around him. Not only are the Bastard Munich attack patterns completely centered around him, but even PXG's defense is fully focused on shutting him down before he can score a second goal. Among all this chaos though, and with all eyes on Isagi, one player seems to be making the best of this scenario. Michael KAISER has now started to move individually, because rather than being focused on ruining Isagi's game, the Emperor is once again locked in and is searching for goals of his own. We see him lurking just behind Isagi to his back right, and he's even completely abandoned Alexis' ness to chase after his ideal. Even crazier than that, KAISER started passing to other Blue Lock members out of desperation, which Isagi admits he's not even mad about. After all, how could he blame his OG homies like Ryusei or Yuri for just wanting to boost their value? Especially while Isagi is 100% locked into the top 23, they're both still teetering the line. KAISER understands the situation and mindset that they're operating by, so using this to his advantage, he's making a last-ditch effort to try and reclaim his throne and devour Isagi. It seems like KAISER has finally understood the concept of egocentrism, because he's now taking into account his teammates' and opponents' mindsets, tendencies, and anything else to gain the advantage. Rather than being afraid of this awakening, Isagi grits his teeth and doubles down on this goal of crushing KAISER. He even points out that now is the perfect time to plummet his value, because if Isagi manages to score the brace after all of KAISER's shenanigans, there's not even a Little League team that would want this man. With Isagi then making a pass off to Corona, he questions if KAISER's evolution will truly be enough to devour him, or can he fully go on to solidify his status as Bastard Munich's true king. Let me know what you guys think will be the outcome of KAISER and Isagi's rivalry in this match, because I honestly think it could go a lot of different ways and continue even into the U20 arc. Back to our Shark Boy though, Tokimitsu has unfortunately arrived just to his right as he's trapped the ball, promising to prevent Corona and Isagi from linking up anymore. Toki looks geeked out here too, like he popped a Zen or something before the match, so if I'm Corona, I'm not risking injury against this refrigerator. Our short king could care less though, because Corona ends up just bunkering down here to successfully offset Tokimitsu's center of balance. He even tells him to piss off while calling him an introverted meathead. However, with Nanase sprinting in from behind, this little shit managed to barge into their duel and steal possession for himself. Nanase seems to be getting a lot of attention this game with how locked in he is, even having flashbacks about his training. What do you guys think his ultimate contribution will be for PXG? Will he end up just being yet another example of wasted potential in the Blue Light program? Rolling above all though, Michael KAISER comes flying through the air directly in front of Nanase, catching everyone off guard for the second time. Poor Corona and Toki couldn't just get 2 damn seconds for themselves, nor could Nanase be allowed to shine. KAISER is too locked in for any side character to get more than 3 pages, because he's successfully taken possession and is sprinting full speed ahead. Isagi is of course watching this unfold from afar and taking mental notes, as he's now realized that KAISER is not just targeting him directly. He's now taken the more logical route to just allow the opponents to use effort and pressure Isagi's allies, as he can then aim for the cracks to swoop in and take the ball. Glancing over frantically, Isagi figures out KAISER's next target to be Kunigami Rensuke, as we indeed see him looking over towards him and Shidou. Michael then makes a pass to his right over to Kunigami, who's desperately struggling to hold back Shidou here. With the two dueling and Kunigami really having no other options, he ends up working as an anchor for KAISER, passing the ball right on back to him as he passes up Chaba. This evolved version of KAISER seems to be finally causing some fright within Isagi, because on top of having perfect movements, his use of egocentrism is even more cunning. Knowing that Kunigami has his hands full locking down Shidou, KAISER forced him into a scenario where he had to cooperate and pass back to the Emperor. Michael has thrown everything aside and now completely understands the team he's playing with, and by manipulating his teammates, he's managed to adapt to the situation he's plunged himself into. Being an egoist who's able to destroy and rebuild himself to achieve his own goals, Michael KAISER seems to have a holistic ego type just like Isagi. We even get a little chart here showing off other people's ego types, as obviously Shidou and Bachira are self-types, and players like Ryo and Hyuri are holistic types. Anyways, back to the action, KAISER is in some trouble here as both Itoshi Rin and Karasu are standing right at his front. While Karasu is just standing there hurling insults and jokes towards Michael, Rin seems to be completely locked in, even saying the word kill again. Could we possibly be seeing his flow state once again soon, or will Isagi sweep PXG before that could even happen? Karasu actually manages to leap in here and deflect the ball straight up from Michael KAISER, causing him to take on a very weird look alongside Isagi. Rin also dove in to provide some extra coverage here I guess, but good shit to Karasu for keeping up that good defense. This loose ball luckily falls into the grasp of Hyuri, who also agrees that luck seems to be on their side here. Taking on a serious look and locking in himself, Hyuri begins to pull back his leg as Isagi sprints forward, asking him to resonate. Although 2 defenders tried to prevent it, Hyuri manages to successfully pass the ball in the direction of Isagi, although he didn't even want this pass. Instead of going right in the direction of Hyuri's pass, Isagi sidesteps to his left, allowing it to continue on while also passing up a defender. The pass's true target ends up being Corona Ryusei once again, because as we see him leaping in front of Nanase in the air, Argo goes on to make a perfect pass right towards Isagi, sprinting ahead of everyone right into the box, with the ball bouncing just at his front. All that's left for Isagi Yoichi to do is finish through. Sadly, instead of going on to witness the Galaxy Hotline, we get to see Charles return from being AFK, as he leaps through the air to deny Isagi his second goal. You can actually see him running just behind Isagi in the previous panel, but I honestly understand how he forgot about this little kid. Charles literally rage quit the game and hasn't been seen for a good few chapters. However, despite that, he still goes on to mock Isagi by calling him a brat and knock the ball away. Despite that crazy twist from PXG, the loose ball once again falls into the grasp of a Bastion Munich player, this time being the magician Alexis Ness. With aura flowing all around and a magic circle forming near his foot, Ness assures KAISER that it's not over yet, because he still remains by his side. This comes to a surprise of both KAISER and Isagi, who glance over in confusion, but Kyoragen is here in the bottom left, calmly watching everything going on. Also, it kinda looks like Kyura has an earring on his right ear there, but I think it's just an oddly drawn sweat drop. Anyway, the outro text for today's chapter says, Charles decides to reinsert himself into the game and cuts off Corona's cross to Isagi. With the ball bouncing to Ness, despite being cast aside, Alexis shows that he's still loyal to KAISER. It's pretty crazy to me that Ness is still taking the side of KAISER, but I think an awakening on both of their parts for a super chemical reaction would go super hard here. With that being the end of today's chapter, all that we're left with until next week is the title for the chapter 265, being The Unfortunate Ones. Let me know your thoughts and theories about this in next week's chapter down below, because I have a video brewing tomorrow where I'll be sharing my own opinions. With that being the end of today's overview, I just want to thank you all so much for watching all the way through. If you enjoy the content I push out and would like to support me, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, comment below for the algorithm, and join my community Discord down below if you'd like to interact directly. I hope you all have an amazing day, and make sure to stay up to date via my community tab.